Okay, Adonis. He's, man, he's to all the ladies. He's the picture of the guy that's on every one of those Harlequin romance novels. In every single situation, that's your Adonis. That's your Demuzzi. That's your Tammuz. That's who he is. He may be your Apollo too. He's your love god that's come to save you. That's just the most handsome of all. And there are a lot of parallels to Jesus Christ, but we're not doing that really today. What we're doing is trying to attach how he is the same God as this God and this God and this God, and then Babylonian also. So, um, looking at him, he's looked at as being the reason for the seasons in early Catholic and Christian, even before Christ. When people were looking for the Christ, they called forth Adonis. In the Bible, to this day, whenever Hebrew reads the word Yahweh, he says Adonai, Adonis. He does not say the word Yahweh. They don't say that word. They say Adonai. Okay? And I really doubt if we're talking about the same person here whenever they do that either. But Adonis is a god, and they had this festival where it's an odd thing that's recanting what they would do at this festival is right after Christmas on the third day, and their Christmas was on the December 21st, and then 22nd, 23rd, 24th, then you have this festival, which is our Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas Day there's this giant festival thing because of the rebirth. Okay, and it's the rebirth of the world and Christmas trees and all that stuff, and people pine cones, and on the day after you get presents. Well, not on the day, well, the day after, but that's December 25th. Okay, but if you want to see the whole connection there, you can look at my thing called Saturnalia, where it actually puts together the whole thing. But this is Saturn, so it all goes together. Um, Adonis um, is the reason for the plants growing, and the reason for the seasons flopping back and forth is that Aphrodite and Persephone desperately wanted him. And so he spent half his year up in the north hemisphere and half his year in the bottom hemisphere. Now, of course, this is the sun also, and the sun spends its time in the northern hemisphere. And when the Earth leans back, it's doing the southern hemisphere and goes back and forth. When it's summer up here, it's winter down there. When it's winter down here, it's sun. Right? You know this, right? Okay. And so this depicts that, and incorrectly, believe it or not, incorrectly. Uh, Yay. Um, he's supposed to be Cineris, his incestuous half daughter, Smyrna. He had a baby with her. Now, odd thing, they say that she turns into a tree that wanders the wilderness, and that also she turns into the myrrh tree, which and other ones say she turns into a pine cone tree. Um, but it's the tree of life. But then again, also this same epithet is thrown on gypsies. And so, in ancient Hebrews with the tambourines and the whole gypsy type thing and stuff, and the wandering people, and it makes you think that they're attaching that themselves pretty good right there, I guess. Um, Anyhow, um, they have to spend part of the year up in the lower half and or in the upper half and in the lower half and everything. It doesn't really say that a suggestion of rebirth in that way, but it rebirths in the other way. In another tale, Adonis is killed out into a lettuce field by Ares, who is masquerading as a boar, and attacks him and kills him, and he bleeds all over the lettuce and stuff and everything. Anyhow, that's also where we get the idea of somebody being born in a cabbage patch. Is there's your rebirth again off of it, and the fact that you could plant something and then after the thing and then it comes up and stuff too. So we get a connection there off of it. So Adonis. Isaiah 18:1 refers to the festival of Adonis, where they used to have this weird rite where what they would do is pull the statue of Adonis out into the sunlight, and they would throw this big old fit and have an oratory about it, and they bring him out of the light, and then they would say that he had come alive, do a ritual and say he'd come alive, and then they begin talking to him like he was alive, and people would talk to him and stuff as if he was alive. Okay, and oh, this is Christians doing this, by the way. This is Christians before Christ showed up, and even after somewhat, yeah, all the way to the second century A.D. And it says they're brought into the light. He's addressed to like if he's alive, and the practice of addressing a statue, of course, is like, nothing new to us because people used to do it for idol worship and stuff. But the idea of bringing a statue out and doing that type of thing, that was done for here. And to this day, we see him like bringing Mother Mary around, doing things like that. Well, Mother Mary and the Adonis and the thing, that's him. That's going to be Madonna and the child, and there it is, and it's Adonis and Adonai. So that's going to be like a Jesus thing or whatever. So of course they grab that name and they throw it in the Hebrew and they go, no, here's some confusion for you, because we're going to say that Adonis is the guy that's helping us run around already before Jesus is even born. It's said that it's a cult that died out, around in the 3rd century whenever they started doing the other one. But even this guy here, now I'm looking at something that right here, the thing that I'm looking at is a Christian deal. He's trying to refute the fact that Jesus has things to do with these people. But what I've used it for is that he shows all these people have these exact same traits, and that Jesus has some of them, but nobody has all of them, and they're in the wrong timeline. Well, of course you're in the wrong timeline of Jesus, but Jesus has all these things, see? And it's like, yeah, they did kind of put all that on him, didn't they? Well, he did. He's a man of all things. And then they added to it, as far as his birthday and things like that. So it just kept all these pagan cults locked in together, saying, well, you have a thing about him reborn, and here he is, and he's reborn, and here, when's his birthday? When do y'all celebrate it? That's when Christ was born. So anyhow, Adonis and everything. We'll look more about the rising gods, but there you go.